Alright, back again, guys. When I broke down the top looking for a bolt, put a few dings in the paint here and there on the plenum coolant manifolds. You see some weak spots from the first, or actually the second coat. That was 2 coats of the paint and the hardener. Actually, I think second time I just used straight thinned paint and not hardener. Might have had a little bit to do with it. But I've got it mixed again now with hardener. This is not epoxy, but polyglass MEK hardener. This is a gloss sunrise red Rust-Oleum. It's probably middle of the road quality wise. I think the polyglass and the MEK hardener just give it the durability that you need if you're not using Imron or some of the other $75 a gallon paints. So I'm going to lay another coat on these. You can see where I didn't have the cure angle, the dry angle right the first time, and it got some sags in it, and there's a couple of chips in it there too. And it also has a little bit to do with how you got the paint thinned. You got to have it thinned, not too much, but just right, such that it runs off without creating sags and runs. So let's get started on this one. I think this is the driver's side. And you got to lay it on thick. Unlike the aluminum paint that I put on the alternator case, you want to spread that out as thin as you can. But this gloss paint, you want it on thick. Not necessarily thick in the paint, but heavy, because the paint, again, the paint is not thick, it's cut. And I'll post those ratios for the paint, thinner, and the polyglass or fiberglass and hardener ratios. I think I had before, but I'll do it again just in case somebody wants to see it. I did get a couple of PMs on painting when I was doing the plenum, as I had mentioned before when I was doing the alternator. So let's start on this one. Let's draw some of this paint, and remember, it's going on heavy. Start down here at the bottom, spread it out, go back and forth. Just make sure to get over the lip where it cures, and we can come back after it's cured and get down to bare metal for the hose. Cliff said the hose probably wouldn't handle paint too well, and that's cool. So let's get a little more on here, and again, keep it going on there heavy. Let's go back and forth. Make sure it gets over the lip. Let's go back on the other side here. Make sure we're going all the way around. Let's go back on this side. And you see it's got bubbles in it, but the bubbles will be gone because the paint is thin. Those bubbles will they'll go away as the paint cures. Let's come back up a little bit higher here. Back and forth. Make sure you get back into the first part there. Let's get up under the joint. And you can see where it's already started dripping, and that's fine. That just tells me that the paint is thinned properly. Alright, that should be the end of that. Alright, let's just go over it one more time here. And it'll run down both sides. Let's move this guy. One more time here. Alright, now let's move up to the top. Tell you what, we've got to get on the back, because there's a little recess that I missed the first time, I think. And it's right under here. And again, you want this paint on thick, because it'll run down and it'll fix all the... Alright, let's drop it down here. You can see how it's running off of the entire length, and you can see how the bubbles have popped and what other bubbles there are have run down underneath. I'll get a snap tape later and post that. Let's go across the top now. Brush life of the paint is probably a couple hours. Sometimes you can get away with putting plastic on the surface of the paint, like a plastic bag cut, and just on the surface so it doesn't give off the vapors, and you can get away with a second day. I've done it before, even with the hardener mix in there. Let's go across the top again here, across the lip. Get in these bolt recesses. And on the mating side, the gasket mating side, once that cures, you can get the single edge and shave it off and get that clean mating surface. Let's go across the top here on these bolts. Bolt recesses, one more there. On the back. And on the front side. Sorry you guys can't see it from that angle, but and again, you go on in two different directions with the brush. But that doesn't matter because it runs down until all the excess is run off. All you got to do is make sure that you've gotten all the spots. Let's go across the top again just for... I'd like to get that to Carter there and get something in it, but I don't know how it would work. Alright, now we're going to push it back just a little bit so we can get the second manifold. Alrighty. Let's get on that second one real quick. Get that paint on there heavy. Roll it back and forth. Make sure you got over the lip. And just remember to keep the paint going on there heavy. And if there's a thin spot, don't worry about it. Just get that first coat on there smooth, and if necessary, you can always put another coat on. Some of these spots I'm not really worried about. Back and forth. And just keep it going on there heavy. Pull this guy back a little bit. Now let's get the last section here. Pull it down the length. Let's come back up here. And what this is, I don't have an idea, but I don't belong there. Scramblage. Alright, now where were we here? Alright, let's finish let's make sure we got the joint part. keep it going on there thick. Alrighty. And it'll run down and even out all the way as it goes. Alright, let's get the back side first. Get it on there heavy. Get that little back side down here. Get that recess there. Okay. Alright, let's drop it down there. And it's running down here. You can see that, and it's just what I want. Let's go across the top. Keep it on there, keep it going heavy. Now let's get those recesses here where the bolt goes through. Alright. On the back. When it dries on these telephone books, it will stick and it might pull some paper, but that is not a problem. Scram, bitch. Because it is on the mating surface, and you're going to scrape that clean with the razor before you match it up to the injector housing. Let's get a little more on the side here. Underneath, I don't know if I got it on the other one, the first one, but you're going to go ahead and touch it real quick. Like I said, you got a good brush light with the mixed paint. Under there, and right under here. Let's get some brush paint on there, just make sure it's heavy. Right up under there. And that should take care of that. I'll tell you what, let's move it a little bit, just so it drains different off of that paper. And there we go. That should do it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you got any tips, Hal in Montana, thank you for the paper towel trick to get off the excess of the brush with the aluminum paint. Keep that in mind. And anybody else posted up there, and thanks Dom for the crossover hose. I'll be checking that in the mail. Thanks guys, bye bye there.